My name is Jacqueline Miller. I am 53 years old, and I thought I understood what family meant. I had spent my whole life trying to be the good daughter, the reliable sister, the devoted mother. That Thursday afternoon, I was sitting in my office reviewing quarterly reports, feeling content. My son Dylan was doing well in his software engineering career. My younger sister Melissa was about to celebrate her engagement. Everything seemed perfect. I had no idea that in less than 2 hours I would learn exactly where I stood in my family, and the truth would break me in ways I never imagined. Before I tell you what happened next, let me know where you are watching from. Hit that like button and subscribe, because what my own family did that day will show you how quickly love can turn cold when it is no longer convenient. It was exactly 2:15 in the afternoon when my phone started vibrating on my desk. I was in the middle of an important budget meeting with 3 department heads. The number was unfamiliar, but something in my gut told me to answer. I excused myself and stepped into the hallway. A woman's voice came through, professional but urgent. "Is this Jacqueline Miller? This is St. Mary's Hospital. Your son Dylan has been in a serious car accident." The world tilted. My hand gripped the phone so hard my knuckles went white. The fluorescent lights above me seemed to flicker. What happened? Is he okay?" The nurse spoke quickly but clearly. "Your son was driving northbound on Main Street. A vehicle struck him from behind at the intersection of Oak Avenue. His car flipped. He has sustained serious head trauma. He is being prepped for emergency surgery right now. You need to come immediately." I did not remember running to my car. I did not remember telling my colleagues I was leaving. I just remember my hands shaking so badly I could barely grip the steering wheel. Dylan, my beautiful boy. My only child. The one I had raised alone for the past 15 years after my divorce. The one who called me every Sunday without fail. The one who still brought me flowers on Mother's Day, even though he was 28 years old. The drive to St. Mary's took 12 minutes, but it felt like 12 hours. I kept seeing his face in my mind. His smile when he graduated college. The way he hugged me when he got his first job. The pride in his eyes when he bought his first car last year. That car. Was it destroyed? Was he trapped inside? Did he call for me? I pulled into the hospital parking lot and ran through the automatic doors. The emergency room was chaos. People everywhere. Crying children. Worried faces. The smell of antiseptic burned my nostrils. I rushed to the front desk, gasping for breath. "My son, Dylan Miller. He was brought in." "Car accident. Where is he?" The receptionist checked her computer. "He is in surgery, ma'am. 3rd floor. Take the elevator on your right. Someone will meet you in the surgical waiting area." I ran to the elevator, pressed the button 5 times. When the doors finally opened, I squeezed in before they were fully apart. The ride up felt endless. When I reached the 3rd floor, a nurse was waiting. She guided me to a small waiting room with gray walls and uncomfortable plastic chairs. Then Dr. Harrison appeared. He was in his late 50s, with kind eyes behind wire-rimmed glasses, but his expression was grave. He sat down beside me and spoke in a low, steady voice. "Ms. Miller, your son has suffered severe head trauma. There is bleeding inside his skull. We need to perform emergency surgery to relieve the pressure. Without it, the damage could be catastrophic. With it, he has a 60 to 70% chance of full recovery, but there are risks. There could be permanent neurological damage, memory loss, motor function impairment. We will not know until after the procedure." My throat closed. Could barely breathe. "How long will it take? 4 to 6 hours? Possibly longer. I need you to sign consent forms." He handed me a clipboard. I stared at the papers. The words blurred together. Risks, benefits, complications. possible death. I signed my name with a trembling hand. My signature looked like it belonged to someone else. Dr. Harrison squeezed my shoulder. "We will do everything we can. He is young and strong. That works in his favor." Then he was gone, and I was alone. The waiting room was nearly empty. Just me and an elderly couple sitting in the corner, holding hands, their faces etched with worry. The television mounted on the wall was playing the news with no sound. The clock on the wall ticked loudly. 2:45. The surgery had just begun. I pulled out my phone with shaking fingers. I stared at the screen. Today was Melissa's engagement celebration. She had been planning it for 3 months. She had rented out the private dining room at Rosewood Manor, one of the most expensive restaurants in the city. She had invited 50 guests. The party started at 3 o'clock. My mother Margaret would be there. She was 74 years old, and Melissa's engagement was all she had talked about for weeks. She adored Melissa's fiance, Bradley Thompson. He was 48, successful, charming. He owned a financial consulting firm. He drove a luxury car and wore expensive suits. My mother thought he was perfect. I hesitated. Should I call them? Dylan was in surgery. This was life or death. But today was Melissa's big day. Would they even want to hear this news right now? I looked at Dylan's empty chair across from me. If it were reversed, if it were Melissa in surgery, would Dylan hesitate? No. He would call immediately. Because family is supposed to show up. Family is supposed to care. I took a deep breath and dialed my mother's number. The phone rang 3 times before she answered. In the background, I could hear music, laughter, the clinking of glasses. The party had started. "Jacqueline." My mother's voice was light, almost singing. "Why are you calling right now, Mom? I need to tell you something." My voice cracked. "It is Dylan. He has been in a terrible accident. He is in surgery right now at St. Mary's." "It is serious. Really serious." There was a pause. 2 seconds of silence. Then her tone changed completely. It went from warm to ice cold. "What today?" "Jacqueline, do you know what day it is?" "I know, Mom, but Dylan might not make it. He has bleeding in his brain. They are operating right now." She cut me off. Her voice was sharp, almost angry. "Don't call me at a time like this. Today is your sister's proposal celebration. We have been planning this for months. Do you have any idea how important this is?" I felt like I had been slapped. "But Mom, Dylan is in critical condition. He could die. He is in the hospital, Jacqueline. The doctors will take care of him. There is nothing you can do sitting there. Don't ruin Melissa's big day with this drama. Drama, Mom. Your grandson might not survive the night. You are overreacting. Dylan is young. He will be fine. I have to go. People are asking for me. We will talk about this later." The line went dead. I sat frozen, staring at my phone. Did that just happen? Did my mother just hang up on me? Did she just call Dylan's life-threatening surgery drama? My hands started shaking again. Maybe she did not understand. Maybe the music was too loud. Maybe she was overwhelmed by the party and did not process what I said. Yes, that had to be it. She would never be that cold on purpose. I scrolled through my contacts and found Melissa's number. My little sister. We used to be close when we were kids. She was 7 years younger than me, and I used to braid her hair and help her with homework. Surely she would understand. Surely she would care that her nephew was fighting for his life. I pressed call. Melissa answered on the second ring. Her voice was bubbly with excitement. "Jackie, are you on your way? The party is amazing. Bradley just gave the sweetest speech. Everyone is here." "Where are you, Mel? I cannot come. Dylan has been in a car accident. He is in emergency surgery. I am at the hospital." Her tone shifted instantly. "What? Now? Today?" "Yes," I said, trying to keep my voice steady. "I am at St. Mary's. It is very serious, Mel. He has head trauma. I need you to understand. Jackie, are you serious right now? She sounded annoyed, frustrated. You are not coming to my engagement party because of this. I could not believe what I was hearing. Mel, he is your nephew. He might not make it through surgery. Her voice went cold. Jackie, the doctors are there. What can you do sitting in a waiting room? This is my day. Do you understand my day? I only get proposed once in my life. But Melissa, this is life or death. She laughed. Actually laughed. It was a sharp, bitter sound. It is a once-in-a-lifetime moment. Stop ruining it. Dylan will be fine. He is young and healthy. But if you miss this party, you will regret it. Everyone will ask where you are. What am I supposed to tell them, that you chose to sit in a hospital over celebrating with your family? Melissa, how can you say that I have to go, Jackie? Bradley is about to give another toast. Come if you want to be part of this family. The line went dead. I sat there, phone in my hand, staring at nothing. My sister had just hung up on me. My mother had dismissed me. My son was on an operating table fighting for his life, and my family could not be bothered to care. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I did not wipe them away. I just let them fall. The hours crawled by. 3 o'clock became 4. 4 became 5. 5 became 6. The surgery was taking longer than expected. Every time a nurse walked by, I stood up hoping for news, but they just shook their heads and kept walking. I watched other families come and go. An older couple arrived, both in their 70s, holding hands as they waited for news about their son. When the doctor came out and told them the surgery was successful, they cried and hugged each other. I watched them and felt a hollow ache in my chest. A young man, maybe 30 years old, paced the waiting room while his wife was in surgery. His friends showed up with coffee and sandwiches. They sat with him. They talked to him. They made sure he was not alone. I watched them and felt the loneliness settle deeper into my bones. I was surrounded by people, but I had never felt more alone in my life. I pulled out my phone and opened Facebook more out of habit than anything else. My feed was flooded with photos from Melissa's party. She had posted at least 20 pictures in the past 3 hours. There was Melissa in a stunning red dress laughing with her hand on Bradley's chest. There was Bradley down on one knee again, recreating the proposal for photos. There was my mother beaming in a silver gown, holding a champagne glass. There was a photo of the elaborate cake, 3 tiers covered in gold leaf. There was a photo of the table settings, elegant white roses and crystal candles. Not a single photo included me. Not a single caption mentioned that someone was missing. It was as if I did not exist. I scrolled back through my memories. When had it started? When had I become invisible to them? I was the older daughter, the responsible one, the one who got good grades and never caused trouble. I put myself through college while working 2 jobs. I graduated with honors. I got a stable job in accounting. I did everything right, but my mother never seemed impressed. She never came to my college graduation because she had a prior commitment with her book club. When I got my first promotion, she said, "That is nice, dear," but did not ask for details. When I announced my engagement at 23, she frowned and said, "Are you sure he is the right one?" He does not seem ambitious. She was right in the end. My ex-husband was not ambitious. He was also not faithful. But when I divorced him 15 years ago, my mother said, "I told you so. You should have listened to me." Melissa, on the other hand, could do no wrong. She was the baby, the pretty one, the charming one. She dropped out of college after 2 years because she was bored, and my mother said, "That is okay, sweetie. School is not for everyone." When Melissa got married the first time at 25, my mother threw her an extravagant wedding. When that marriage fell apart 3 years later, my mother comforted her and said, "He did not deserve you anyway." When Melissa needed money after her divorce, I lent her $5,000. She promised to pay me back within a year. That was 8 years ago. She still had not repaid a single cent. When I gently reminded her last Christmas, she laughed and said, "You are not hurting for money, Jackie. Don't be so uptight." And now here I was, sitting alone in a hospital while my son fought for his life. And my family was celebrating at a party. I thought about all the times I had shown up for them. When my mother had pneumonia 4 years ago, I took 2 weeks off work to stay with her. I cooked her meals. I drove her to doctor appointments. I changed her sheets and made sure she took her medicine. Melissa visited once for 20 minutes and brought a card. When Melissa went through her divorce, I was there every single night for a month. I let her cry on my shoulder. I helped her pack up her apartment. I paid for her security deposit on a new place because she was broke. She said, "You are the best, Jackie. I do not know what I would do without you, but now that I needed them..." Silence, coldness, dismissal. I wiped my eyes and put my phone away. I could not look at those photos anymore. It hurt too much. At 7:30, Dr. Harrison finally walked into the waiting room. He looked tired, but he was smiling slightly. I jumped to my feet. "Ms. Miller," he said, "the surgery was successful. We were able to stop the bleeding and relieve the pressure. Your son is stable." Relief flooded through me so intensely I thought my knees would buckle. "Is he awake? Can I see him?" "Not yet. He is in a medically induced coma right now. We need to keep him sedated for the next 24 to 48 hours to allow his brain to heal. But the initial signs are good. No major permanent damage that we can see. Of course, we will need to monitor him closely." "Thank you," I whispered. "Thank you so much. You can see him in the ICU. Follow me." I followed Dr. Harrison down a long hallway and through a set of heavy doors. The ICU was dim and quiet, except for the beeping of machines. He led me to a small room at the end of the hall. And there was Dylan, my beautiful boy. He looked so small in that hospital bed. There were tubes everywhere. A ventilator breathed for him. Monitors beeped steadily. His head was wrapped in white bandages. His face was pale, almost gray. I pulled a chair up beside his bed and took his hand. It was warm. I held it gently and started crying again. "I am here, baby," I whispered. "I am not going anywhere. You are going to be okay. I promise. You are going to be okay." I sat there for an hour, just holding his hand and watching his chest rise and fall with the ventilator. I talked to him even though he could not hear me. I told him about my day, about the stupid meeting I had been in when the hospital called, about how proud I was of him, about how much I loved him. At 8:30, a police officer appeared at the door. He was in his 40s, with a kind face and a serious expression. "Ms. Miller, I am Officer Rodriguez. I am investigating your son's accident. Can I ask you a few questions?" "Of course." He pulled out a small notebook. "We have determined that this was a hit and run. The vehicle that struck your son fled the scene immediately." My stomach dropped. Hit and run. Someone hit him and just left. Officer Rodriguez nodded grimly. "Yes, ma'am. Your son was stopped at a red light at the intersection of Main Street and Oak Avenue. A black SUV struck him from behind at high speed, causing his vehicle to be pushed into the intersection and flip onto its side. The SUV did not stop. It fled westbound on Oak Avenue. Did anyone see who it was?" I asked, my voice shaking. "We have several witnesses and traffic camera footage. The vehicle was a late-model black Land Rover. We have a partial license plate. We are tracking down the owner now." He showed me a grainy photograph printed from the traffic camera. It showed a large black SUV with tinted windows. The front bumper was crumpled, and there was a long scratch along the driver's side silver metal visible through the black paint. I stared at the photo. Something about it felt familiar, but I could not place it. My brain was too foggy with exhaustion and fear. If you think of anything that might help, please call me, Officer Rodriguez said, handing me his card. We will find whoever did this. After he left, I sat back down beside Dylan. I pulled out my phone again, not sure why. Maybe I was hoping someone from my family had called or texted to check on him. But there was nothing, just more photos from Melissa's party. I scrolled through them numbly. Melissa and Bradley cutting the cake. Melissa dancing with my mother. Bradley giving a speech while everyone raised their glasses. Then I saw a photo that made my blood run cold. It was a picture Melissa had posted at 2:30 in the afternoon, half an hour before the party officially started. The caption read, "The man of my dreams and his beautiful ride." The photo showed Bradley standing proudly beside his car. A black Land Rover. Shiny. Expensive. Perfect. Except in this photo, the car was pristine. No damage. No scratches. I kept scrolling. Another photo posted at 7:15. This one was taken in the parking lot after the party. A guest had tagged Melissa. The photo showed several cars, including Bradley's Land Rover. And there it was, a long silver scratch down the driver's side, the front bumper slightly crumpled. My hands started shaking. No, it could not be. I zoomed in on the photo. The scratch was identical to the one in the police photograph. The damage to the bumper matched perfectly. I opened the earlier photo again. 2:30. No damage. I opened the later photo. 7:15. Damage. Dylan's accident happened at 2:45. I felt like I was going to be sick. I grabbed my phone and called Officer Rodriguez. He answered on the third ring. Officer Rodriguez. I found something. My voice was shaking so badly I could barely speak. I think I know who hit my son. Can you check a license plate for me? Go ahead. I gave him the numbers and letters I could make out from Melissa's photo. There was a pause. I heard him typing on a computer. That vehicle is registered to a Bradley Thompson, age 48. Ms. Miller. How do you know this person? I closed my eyes. He is my sister's fiance. I did not sleep that night. I sat beside Dylan's bed, holding his hand, staring at the wall. My mind was racing. Bradley had hit Dylan. Bradley had run. And then Bradley had gone to his engagement party and smiled and given speeches and cut cake like nothing had happened. While my son was in surgery fighting for his life, Bradley was celebrating. And my family had chosen his party over Dylan's life. At 6 in the morning, Officer Rodriguez called me. Ms. Miller, we have confirmed it. Traffic camera footage shows Bradley Thompson's vehicle at the scene. The damage matches. We pulled his phone records. He was texting while driving. He ran a red light and struck your son from behind. He is being brought in for questioning within the hour. He will be charged with felony hit and run causing serious bodily injury. What happens now? I asked. He will be arrested. There will be a court case. Given the evidence, he is looking at 3 to 5 years in prison and significant financial penalties. Thank you, I said quietly. After I hung up, I sat in silence. Part of me felt satisfied. Justice would be served. Bradley would pay for what he did. But another part of me felt sick, because Melissa loved him. And when she found out, she would be devastated. And somehow, she would find a way to blame me. At 9 o'clock, my phone rang. It was Melissa. I almost did not answer, but something made me pick up. Her voice was frantic. Jackie, what did you do? What are you talking about? The police just arrested Bradley. They are saying he hit Dylan. They are saying you gave them his information. What is wrong with you? I took a deep breath. Melissa, he did hit Dylan. There is camera footage. There are witnesses. He was texting and driving. He ran a red light and crashed into Dylan's car. and then he left him there to die. "You are lying," Melissa screamed. "You are making this up because you are jealous. You have always been jealous of me. I am not lying, Mel. Check the news. It is already online." There was a long silence. I heard her breathing heavily. Then her voice came back quieter, but filled with venom. "You did this on purpose. You could not stand to see me happy, so you destroyed it." "He almost killed Dylan," I said, my voice breaking. "He hit him and ran. He left your nephew unconscious in a crushed car. And then he came to your party and pretended nothing happened." She was crying now. "I loved him, Jackie. I was going to marry him. And you took him away from me." "He took himself away," I said quietly. "I just told the truth." She hung up. 2 hours later, my mother called. Her voice was cold and sharp. "Jacqueline, what have you done? You have destroyed your sister's life." "I told the police who hit Dylan, Mom. That is all I did. You must have made a mistake. Bradley is a good man. He would never do something like that. There is video evidence, Mom." "He texted while driving. He ran a red light. He hit Dylan and drove away. He left him to die." "I do not believe you. You are just trying to ruin Melissa's happiness because you are miserable. You have always been bitter." Her words cut deep, but I did not let her hear it in my voice. "Mom, Dylan almost died. He is still in a coma. And you have not even asked how he is doing." She ignored that. "Melissa is heartbroken. She will not stop crying. She trusted you and you betrayed her." "I did not betray anyone. Bradley is a criminal. He belongs in jail." "You have torn this family apart," she said coldly. "I hope you are happy." She hung up. I sat there staring at my phone. My family had chosen a criminal over me, over Dylan. They would rather believe I was lying than accept that Bradley was guilty. That afternoon, Melissa showed up at the hospital. I was in the ICU waiting area when she walked in. Her eyes were red and swollen from crying. Her makeup was smeared. She looked like she had not slept. She walked up to me and stared. "They arrested him." "It is true, isn't it?" I nodded. "Yes." Her face crumpled. "Bradley said it was an accident. He said he panicked. He said he did not mean to hurt anyone. He left Dylan to die, Mel. He knew Dylan was hurt, and he drove away." Tears streamed down her face. "He loves me, Jackie. He was going to marry me. We were going to have a life together. And now it is gone. Everything is gone." I stood up and tried to reach for her hand, but she pulled away. "Mel, I am sorry you are hurting. But he did this." "Not me." She shook her head, backing away. "You do not understand. I finally found someone who wanted me, and you took him away. You could not stand to see me happy. That is not true." "Yes, it is." She wiped her eyes. "You have always been jealous of me. You have always wanted what I have. And now, you got your revenge." She turned and walked away. I watched her go and felt something break inside me. 3 days after the accident, Dylan woke up. I was sitting beside his bed, reading a book out loud to him, even though he could not hear me when his fingers twitched. I looked up and saw his eyelids fluttering. "Dylan." I leaned forward, my heart pounding. "Dylan, can you hear me?" His eyes opened slowly. They were unfocused, at first glazed with confusion. Then they found my face. His lips moved, but no sound came out because of the ventilator tube. A nurse rushed in. "Let me get the doctor." She hurried out. I held Dylan's hand tightly, tears streaming down my face. "You are okay. You are going to be okay. I am here, baby. I am right here." Dr. Harrison came in and examined Dylan carefully. He checked his reflexes, his pupils, his responses. Then he smiled. "This is very good. Let us remove the ventilator and see how he does on his own." It took another hour, but finally the tube was out. Dylan coughed and gasped, and then he looked at me. His voice was hoarse and weak. "Mom, I am here," I whispered, squeezing his hand. "What happened?" "You were in an accident, but you are safe now. You are going to be fine." Over the next few hours, Dylan's memory started coming back in pieces. He remembered driving. He remembered stopping at a red light. He remembered a loud crash and then nothing. I told him about the surgery. I told him about Bradley. His face went pale. "Aunt Melissa's fiance did this." I nodded. "Did they come?" He asked quietly. "Grandma. Aunt Melissa." I looked away. "Dylan, I need to tell you something." I told him everything. About the phone calls, about the party, about how they had dismissed his life as drama, about how they had blamed me for reporting Bradley. Dylan listened in silence. When I finished, he squeezed my hand. "It is okay, Mom. We have each other. That is all we need." And in that moment, I realized he was right. This was my family, Dylan and me. Not the people who shared my blood, but could not be bothered to care when we needed them most. 1 week after Dylan woke up, my mother called. Her voice was stiff and formal. "Jacqueline Bradley has been formally charged. His lawyer says the evidence is overwhelming. He will go to prison." "Good," I said simply. There was a pause. "Melissa is devastated. She has not left her apartment in days. She will not eat. She will not see anyone. I am sorry she is hurting." "Are you?" My mother snapped. "Because it seems like you are enjoying this. I am not enjoying anything, Mom. My son almost died. He is still in the hospital. And you have not once asked how he is doing." She went silent. I continued, my voice shaking with emotion I had been holding back for days. "All my life, I have tried to earn your love. I got good grades. I worked hard. I took care of myself. And it was never enough. Nothing I did was ever good enough. But Melissa could do no wrong. Even when she made mistakes, you protected her. You excused her. You gave her everything." "That is not true," my mother said weakly. "Yes, it is. When I needed you, you were not there. When Dylan needed you, you chose a party. You chose a criminal over your own grandson. I did not know it was that serious. I told you it was. You just did not listen. You have never listened to me." There was a long silence. Then my mother said quietly, "What do you want me to say?" "I do not want you to say anything. Mom, I am done. Dylan and I are done trying to be part of a family that does not value us. We need space. A lot of space." "Jacqueline, you are being dramatic." "No," I said firmly. "I am being honest. For the first time in my life, I am putting myself and my son first. And if you cannot accept that, then we have nothing more to talk about." I hung up before she could respond. 3 weeks later, Bradley Thompson was sentenced. He pleaded guilty to felony hit and run with serious bodily injury. He received 4 years in prison and was ordered to pay $200,000 in restitution to cover Dylan's medical expenses and damages. Melissa sent me a text message. It was short. "I hope you are happy. You destroyed my life." I did not respond. 6 months passed. Dylan made a full recovery. He went back to work. He had a small scar on his forehead from the surgery, but the doctor said he was incredibly lucky. No permanent brain damage, no long-term complications. He was the same Dylan he had always been. We moved to a new apartment together, a fresh start. It was smaller than my old place, but it felt lighter, happier. There were no painful memories here. Dylan started dating a woman named Amanda. She was a teacher, kind and patient. She had been by his side during his recovery, bringing him books and keeping him company. I liked her immediately. As for my family, I had not spoken to them since that phone call with my mother. Melissa sent a few more angry texts in the first month, but eventually they stopped. My mother did not reach out at all. I assumed she was still angry with me for refusing to apologize. At first it hurt. I would see mothers and daughters shopping together, or sisters laughing in restaurants, and I would feel an ache in my chest. But slowly, the pain faded. I realized that I felt lighter without them. I did not have to walk on eggshells anymore. I did not have to prove myself. I did not have to accept crumbs of affection and pretend it was enough. I reconnected with old friends I had lost touch with over the years. I joined a book club. I started going to yoga classes. I built a life that was mine. Dylan and I had dinner together every Sunday. We cooked, we laughed, we talked about everything and nothing. Amanda joined us most weeks. It felt like family. Real family. One Saturday afternoon, I was sitting in the park near our apartment reading a book when I saw Dylan and Amanda walking toward me. They were holding hands, laughing about something. When they reached me, they sat down on the bench. Dylan looked happy, truly happy. The kind of happiness that comes from being loved and valued. "Mom," he said, "I have been thinking. I know this past year has been hard. I know you lost your family because of me." I shook my head quickly. "No, Dylan, I did not lose anything. I let go of people who did not value us. There is a difference." He smiled. "You are the strongest person I know." "I am not strong," I said softly. "I am just tired of being small for people who will never see me as enough." Amanda squeezed Dylan's hand, then mine. "You are both so brave. Family is not just about blood. It is about who shows up." She was right. I looked at Dylan, at the life he was building, at the man he had become. I thought about the journey we had been through together. The pain, the betrayal, the loneliness, but also the strength, the clarity, the freedom. I had learned something important. Love should not require you to shrink yourself. It should not demand that you suffer in silence. It should not punish you for having needs. Real love shows up. Real love cares. Real love does not ask you to choose between your dignity and your place at the table. I would never get an apology from my mother. I would never hear Melissa admit she was wrong. And I had made peace with that. Their inability to love me the way I deserved was not my failure. It was theirs. I thought about a quote I had read once. "Sometimes the people who share your blood are not the ones who understand your heart." My heart was understood now. By Dylan, by Amanda, by the friends who had welcomed me back, by the life I was building on my own terms. And you know what? That was enough. Have you ever had to choose between family loyalty and doing what is right? Have you ever felt invisible in your own family? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I would love to hear your stories. If this resonated with you, Please hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life stories about finding strength in difficult times. Share this with someone who needs to hear that they are not alone. Thank you for listening to my story, and I hope you find the courage to choose yourself when you need to. Remember, you deserve to be valued. You deserve to be seen. Take care of yourselves, and I will see you in the next one.